Previously on the Insurance Apprentice.
We're going to have to get you, as the team, to decide who leaves the show today. Tristan, I think we'll start with you. Who did you vote for?
Anifa.
Anifa, who did you vote for?
I voted for Tristan.
Okay, so that's one for Anifa, one for Tristan. Mandy, who did you vote for?
I voted for Tristan.
Temwa, you have the deciding vote.
I voted for Tristan.
Tristan, that's 3-1. You are the next person to leave the competition. You're dismissed.
Hello and welcome to the Insurance Apprentice. This week we continue our quest to find the ultimate ambassador of the insurance industry. I'm your host, Nondotugo Mhlumu. This episode is brought to you by I2 Special Risks, your epic partner in specialty insurance. Over the past 4 weeks, we've seen tensions rise, ruthless eliminations and joyous celebrations. Today, the contestants have one of two choices: to go big or go home. This is the Insurance Apprentice.
So what do you think of last week?
Hectic.
Yes.
Hectic.
Brutal.
Having to vote one of your own out.
How did you feel about that though?
No, look, when Simon said it, I was utterly shocked.
Tristan being eliminated was a bit of a sad one, and he's a strong competitor. I think he was probably the smartest here.
Tim, what happened? You guys just deleted Tristan.
I think it was a strategic move. He was a strong competitor.
Oh.
And I think if someone had to go, it had to be him. So with Tristan being voted out last week, I think the biggest competition has left because I think he was a very major threat.
When you reacted about Tristan, you hold his name up and you're like, Tristan.
Yeah, I felt
Tristan.
it.
You felt it.
Yeah, it was intentional. What really upset me is I had 2 days of having to work with Tristan and be dismissed for everything that I say.
What was going through your head then?
Nah, I was not happy with the treatment, I mean, last week already we had a comment from one of the judges about how you speak to people, So I'm just like, yeah, disrespect me once.
Yeah.
Disrespect me twice. Nah. I was deeply offended that Tristan tried to vote me off. I thought that was appalling.
So how do you guys feel about today?
Dude, I don't know. We'll see what happens. There's few of us now. I hope they don't split us into 3 groups, because that means they will delete the losing team.
Strategy for this week: go in like a dark horse. Make sure you're visible, but not overly visible that people think that you're a threat.
Yeah, what do you guys think is going to happen in the next task?
Look, I have no idea in terms of what the actual task is going to be.
Yeah.
But I think we've all seen that you need to at least have a strategy as far as the game is concerned.
Yeah, my strategy this week is to do well in the tasks, try and make sure that my team wins, and hopefully make it into the final.
We're excited for today. We're ready.
I'm nervous as always. You can't come in this game confident and anyone can get eliminated. So I'm just gonna come with my A game. For my strategy this week, I will form an alliance with one of the members. And if we do have the same incident that happened last week, we'll both decide to vote on the other contestant.
All the best, guys.
All the best.
Yeah, good luck.
Try and make it another week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Have a good one. Good luck.
Ciao.
Cool.
There's really no easy way to say this. We have a massive crisis on our hands. This is what happened yesterday.
Hello?
This is the Freedom Liberators. Listen closely. We have taken one of your employees. If you do not pay us $3 million within 24 hours, we will kill him. We will give you further instructions. And remember, no police.
Fortunately, we have a representative from our specialist insurers who's going to help us with this crisis. We're joined by Marissa van der Westhuizen from I2 Special Risks. Over to you, Marissa.
Thank you, Simon. Simba, an employee of Taken.com, who has been seconded to a risky African territory to explore expansion opportunities, has been kidnapped. Kidnappers are demanding a ransom of $3 million for the safe return of Simba. You will act as crisis management consultants to secure the safe release of Simba, acting on the instructions of the insurers. May I remind you that this is a crisis. Every moment matters, every decision matters, and this may very well be a matter of life or death.
All right, you'll be dealing with this in 2 teams just to make sure we get the best outcome here. In Team A, we've got Temwa, Jason, and Keba. And in Team B, we have Anifa, Mandi, and Rain. Now you've been split into your groups and you know what to do. You'll have 30 minutes. And remember, time is your enemy. Good luck.
And decide if we want to first research so that we know what we're all researching. So we're not all researching the same thing. We're going to present it as we're coming in to give advice. I think that's the best way to do it, right? Not the traditional presentation.
We need to address how it will affect the company and getting the police involved.
Do we want to go ahead and define what kidnapping Simba has? And this is how we're going to be dealing with the situation. Today is going better than last week. It's a new team. I do hope I'm in the winning group. I do feel a lot more secure.
So I'm gonna start with the PowerPoint presentation. So we're gonna have Word documents and PowerPoint presentations.
You know what could help? If we phone the hotline of our 2 and ask them what the next steps are.
Can I put you on that task to call the hotline? Okay.
I think it's going well. I think we're competing at the level that is expected. We've kept the momentum going from last week.
I think the 3 of us work well together, myself, Temwa, and Keba. As soon as the task started, I knew the urgency of the task, hitting the ground running, making sure the ideas are flowing, just to get the group going.
What they will do is, one, we inform the company what the policy provides. It provides cover for 1, 2, 3, and 4. We get to the communication. Communication, family, employees, kidnappers, and the media.
Today when I jumped in and I started taking the lead was to ensure that we work on the task as soon as possible, that we don't waffle around and waste time unnecessarily, because that tends to take away from the time we have to actually complete the task.
I feel like we're a very strong group today, but Monday is regurgitating a lot of information that isn't really relevant.
So Team Offensive, you're winning with the website, right?
Winning with the website, checking how I2 can assist us. The reason why I'm withdrawn today, it's not necessarily my area of expertise. But now I'm in there with trust issues, caught whiff of things like allies and all. No one's talking to me. No one's saying anything to me. So I'm walking around like this duck with a big X on my back.
Now, we've done the communicating. What
Yes.
comes after?
Legal and reputational implications. The media one is the only dark horse that I don't know, because I don't believe we should communicate with media. We keep quiet, and then when it's completed, then we address it.
If it comes out before it's completed, how are we going to manage that?
Working with Anifa and Rain, they were sort of teaming up in terms of emphasize why they want to go in a certain direction and why they didn't perhaps necessarily agree with mine.
People who get along with each other. If I'm in a team with you and we need to vote someone out, this is how we're going to align.
An alliance wouldn't be a strategic perspective to take or point of view, because one, you enter this competition by yourself and you will certainly leave by yourself.
My approach is this with the media. We are aware of the situations. We are taking necessary steps. The family needs privacy for now, and then we don't say anything else. I don't think that one we need approval for. We send that out as is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that there might be a vote, so we're all kind of just trying to win somebody's vote.
It makes sense to form an alliance to make sure that you secure your place in the final challenge.
We need to ensure that in appointing Unity Resources, what we're going to do is make sure that they have the point of contact with the relevant police force. I'm not going to say SAPs. They will also open a clear line of communication with...
Sorry, Rena, how do we want to put it here? Where do you want to put it?
Mandy tried to take control of a situation even if he doesn't know what's going on, so that it looks as if he's adding value. And I could sense that Rain was a bit irritated.
I definitely feel that Mandy has not contributed as much as me and Anifa.
This we
So
need to do
what you're gonna do also is elaborate
On all of the points.
on
but
all
I
of
ju-
the
I
points.
just want to know like how
We'll have to do it under step one.
The fact that Anifa does jump in every once in a while does sort of annoy me, because it makes it seem as if it's her idea.
To be honest, I don't think Mandy's happy right now. I think he feels a bit out of his depth. Rain and I are obviously triangulating information between the two of us.
I think we've got this in place. Let's try and save Simba's life.
I think we have a lot of focus as a team, actually, and I think we can take this home.
we ready to present?
Yeah.
Great stuff, Rain. It's all right.
It's the last stages, and I think it's no longer a friendship sort of thing. It's let's get the work done, and each person is to an extent looking out for themselves.
What is the name of your team?
The name of our team is Crisis Consult.
The floor is yours.
We will start with Jason to kick us off with this crisis that we have at our hands. Jason?
Thank you. You'll notice that you have 3 letters on your table at the moment. These are things that we've already put on your table to ensure that it's just a template. You need to just approve it to ensure that we can send this out to the media, to the family, as well as to the company representatives or the employees in your company at the moment. The urgency of this matter means that we need to act quickly. So we do understand that it's a major issue, and we're trying to do our best to sort it out as soon as possible.
Sorry, is this the first page, media statement, is this for external release?
Yes, this is for external release. However, it's up to you if you want to use it. You have to consult with your PR guys to ensure that.
I'm just wondering, we were warned not to contact the authorities, and that's exactly what this says we've done.
That's why it's a template, so we'll take that out, definitely.
Okay. I'm sure our victim would be grateful for that template check.
So the family member has a connection in the police force. How are you going to make sure they're going to, stop them from contacting the police?
What we told them is this, and if they really love Simba, they have to keep it put. Anything they say, regardless of the relationship between them and the subs member, may mean that Simba comes back in a coffin.
With regards to the security representatives that do want to also take part and try and assist, they have asked if there are any future mitigation strategies that they can implement. Firstly, we did advise that perhaps they can have personal security personnel allocated to individuals that are sent to these countries where they are escorted either from the airport to the hotel.
Sorry, where is Keba? Where is he gone? Oh, he's
good.
back.
You got it.
I do apologize, guys. The man we deployed at the embassy has somewhat managed to get hold of the kidnappers. We are just waiting now for proof of life, and I've also told the financial representative to now be on standby. Once we have it, we are paying. We will see if we can get Simba back.
So let's say the media somehow gets wind of this. How do you then handle that?
With that media statement, we'd have to send them the media statement and also hold a press conference just to mention what has gone on.
Our best communication with the media is this: we are handling the situation with high sensitivity, and we will advise them in due time.
Should we tell the employees that we have this cover?
No.
Why not?
We would not
The reason why
recommend that, as it could lead to fraud or situations like that, and we don't want to encourage that situation.
But is that the risk, that our trusted employees are going to defraud us?
No. So
I think to just touch on that, Simon, it's important to let the employees know that there are risk mitigation things that we can implement. One being that we have implemented sufficient insurance coverage to ensure that they do have that as a backup. I would.
Sorry, Sam, just to add to that, the risk we're trying to prevent here, and we have seen this in the news before, where family members have been killing each other for insurance payouts and so forth, and we don't want that situation to come in as...
I'm confused though, because you seem to think we should tell the staff that we've got sufficient insurance to deal with this, and you're saying we shouldn't tell the staff.
I would recommend that we tell staff that we will keep them safe. I would not recommend telling them of the policy itself. That is a big risk.
Do you agree with that, Jason?
Not the extent of the insurance coverage that we have on them, but to know that the company takes insurance and everything seriously. So we would look at that insurance and put that in place anyway. And the staff would ask that.
You're sounding a little bit like a politician right now. I'm sure they don't care that we've taken out fire insurance when we're actually talking about kidnapping. So in this context, you're saying that we should, and if I'm understanding what's going on here, there's a bit of dissent because your two team members are suggesting that we shouldn't. Which side are you on here?
Because the situation has happened, the employees will ask what measures we've put in place. I do believe that it's important to let them know that we're handling it with our insurers, with our partners, with our legal team, to give them the most comfort going forward.
So you're not in agreement here. I think that's really what I'm establishing.
I walk away from this presentation and engagement thinking that the PR aspect is the most important aspect of managing this whole situation. So as a final question from my side, is there anything wide of the brief that you think needs to be taken into consideration in dealing with this matter?
The biggest thing would be the leak to the media, because now this is going to affect the company's reputation. The reason why we're saying do not address the media yet, recommendation would be once the situation has been dealt with, then address the media.
What's missing for me in the presentation is the human aspect. For Simba's sake, I'm glad that these things are happening in the background, but as I said from the presentation, the PR aspect appears to be the most important thing to you guys.
And I think, Keba, you'll be very disappointed with the answer that you just gave. She specifically mentioned that wide of the actual PR, which seems to be your main concern, and you went right back to discussing the PR of the firm.
I'm going to have to draw a line under this right now. I think we've heard all we need to hear. So thank you. Good luck.
I feel like the presentation task was a mess. The judges really tore us apart. I don't think any of us shined. They managed to pick holes in each and every one of us.
Which led me to be concerned about Temwa's leadership. He didn't necessarily open up many ideas to us.
There was a part where Jason disagreed with me and Keba. He should have just tried and saved the team's face and just agreed with us.
This was the one time where I didn't take time to fully absorb that question because the mother of Dragon said to me, "You'll find that you're disappointed with the answer that you just gave." That's like taking a dagger.
And what is the name of your team?
CMC Consultants.
Great. The floor is yours.
As CMC, we will be responsible for assisting with negotiations. We will start off by setting up a communication station, reaching out to authorities in Africa in collaboration with SAPS. We will also then be setting up a risk assessment as well as putting together a response team. Lastly, we will then also be considering reputational damage.
You recall that the kidnapper said not to involve the police, and you are now mentioning that you will involve the relevant authority.
So this is just merely to understand the environment. They will not be part of the recovery team.
You're alerting the police of a crime that has occurred. Do you still have, the power to stop them from doing their job, which is enforce the law?
In our experience, it is necessary to involve local authorities to get information as to situations that have happened beforehand so that we have some information. So even if they're not responsible as the task team, they will be assisting us in making sure we have the right information in that country.
We thought it was obviously important for us to educate the insured about a K&R policy that they currently have in place and what sort of covers it would provide. In this particular instance, it would obviously provide the response team that would assist in the recovery of Simba. The second part, it would obviously assist in the ransom payment. Third of which is that we need to consider that kidnap cases can extend for long periods of time. And as such, during that period, Simba's family and his financial responsibilities do need to be taken care of. And the K&R policy in this particular instance would take care of such situation. We need to, again, inform the employees of this situation and that it is important that it is not discussed with any third parties outside of the company and/or response team that is currently handling the matter. We need to establish proof of life.
Okay, can we just quickly go back to the management of, the family?
Yes.
You say you'll assure them that all is under control.
Yes.
But you're dealing with a panic-stricken family here. You've just told them that their family member who's, working for your company has been kidnapped. And they demand them to be returned safely and they want to go to the police. So how are you going to firstly control that aspect? And what are these assurances that all is under control that you're going to make to them?
So the best we can do in that sort of situation in terms of managing emotion would to, of course, involve psychologists, right? And bring them into the forum of the, recovery and or process as far as bringing Simba home. We'd then have to have the discussion to them, the importance of one, not speaking to anyone outside of the party and not reacting in a manner that might compromise any part of the process.
What we're looking to do is keep the family updated, but not involved in every step of the way. Because often what happens is family members and company gets emotional and makes decisions that they cannot substantiate.
Do the family or does the family know that there's this insurance in place?
The staff that have the cover will be made aware that they have the cover, but you shouldn't be discussing other staff's K&R cover I wouldn't know necessarily what my colleagues
But
cover.
you'd know
entails.
you have cover.
Yes.
So that means if the kidnappers bring out a pair of pliers and grab one of your fingernails, you might mention that there's insurance in place.
The purpose of this is to start a negotiation. So,
do you think that's wise, though, that you know there's an insurance policy?
When it comes to this sort of covers, they're kept confidential for that specific reason. Right? They're not necessarily shared with the employees, but most of the time, the target employee is in fact the directors and or executive was the same people who would be aware that there is in fact this sort of cover. So the everyday employee would in fact be necessarily informed that you have care now cover to avoid such situations.
Do you agree with that, Anifa?
I mean, if I'm risking my life and I'm going to a high-risk area that is known to be a high-risk area, I think it would be important for me to have some form of knowledge as to what I might be experiencing. So I do believe that I agree with Rain that at least let the executive and myself be fully aware that should something like this happen, that I am covered, because I am ultimately putting myself at risk.
Okay, thank you.
once we have successfully negotiated the safe return of Simba, our extraction team would go and collect and exchange the necessary details. We would then get Simba home or to a safe place, bring him medical attention and assist with offering trauma counseling for him and his family, as well as any business employees that were affected by this. In assessing this,
just before we move on, I must say I appreciate the fact that you understand and you've focused on the human element. The one question that I do have, just in terms of your negotiation strategy, you mentioned proof of life. What sort of proof of life would you request, and what would satisfy you in terms of making sure that the negotiations can go ahead?
what we're looking for is video evidence, not only signifying a mental health check, but also a physical health check. Often perpetrators keep kidnapped victims in terrible, terrible places, and this can quickly lead to the decline of the victim's health.
I'm thinking about a potential wildcard situation where, this person's being kidnapped. They're also like a primary part of this whole process. If they start negotiating with the kidnappers, asking them to contact their family and tugging on, the family's emotional, heartstrings, how would you guys handle that?
Ideally, as consultants, we'd set up a home office simultaneously with having our office in the country that we'll be operating in, just to manage these kind of situations and calm the family down, to ensure them that we are there. So we want to make sure there's some form of presence physically on our team.
Great, thank you so much. Good luck.
The presentation task was interesting. We didn't get to highlight and or speak to all the points that we had noted down in the presentation, because obviously the judges interrupted and we're asking questions in between.
We did have a bit of challenges because Mandi kind of didn't do additional research over and above what he's accustomed to. There was a bit more meat to this task than, just insurance really,
All right, Marissa, we've had both teams. Do you think any of these teams hit the mark today?
I think there were a couple of hits and misses in both teams, and definitely some clear dissent within the team, which is interesting to see. Especially in a crisis, you need to work together, and that's what I would have loved to see, is to see a united front from the teams.
What do you think is going to be our biggest losing point for today? I'm not confident that we're going to make it.
To be honest with you, our presentation today was an absolute shit show. And I think the point where we started disagreeing with Jason is gonna play the major part.
Yeah. I honestly don't know why Jason decided to disagree with us. He should have just tried and save the team's face.
Me disagreeing with my team put a target on my back with the judges as well as my teammates.
So Knox, what did you think of that?
I have very strong feelings about the performances that we saw today. I'm greatly unimpressed, almost disappointed. And I had high hopes and they were shattered.
Oh, today's presentation task. Worst performance ever.
I have a strong feeling that we might be the losing team.
Definitely.
If both teams didn't perform well, we might have another scenario of what happened last week.
I can't do the voting thing.
Now you're kind of worried because you don't know how many people are going to be eliminated. Do I protect myself? Everyone wants to win. No one wants to go home. The presentation at task itself felt like we were ants and the judges were a broom, and anything you said was just like, poof.
It's difficult to, within the groups, the normal cookie cutter type elimination, to see who exactly should leave. They made this competition into, or at least this episode, into an individual task.
Yeah.
If it goes down to a vote, where are you leaning towards? Weakest link or strategic?
Weakest person, I'm sorry, would obviously look at Anifa.
When you and I did a lot of the bigger research, right? And Mandy, I just find that he just was hesitant to do more research over and above what he's comfortable with.
I have to say I enjoyed the different approaches. I know they didn't stick to the brief. I also really didn't enjoy seeing them disagreeing.
Do you have a group that did better than the other for you?
I prefer this group over that group.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
I think if I had to vote, Temwa?
I think we should probably vote for Jason. Jason did disagree with our point.
Because he just kind of disregarded what I gave him?
Sure.
And I felt that put us in a worse position?
Sure.
For me, this person and that one didn't perform today.
I think that was obvious.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that individual next to them, that was my star.
Yeah, I agree.
Knowing that the judges are next door and deciding my fate, my insides on a roller coaster ride.
I feel very anxious when they're about to decide our fate.
So are we all in agreement on what needs to happen?
Sounds unanimous to me.
I'm outvoted. Let's go.
Let's get them back in here. Welcome to this final session of the penultimate task in season 10 of the Insurance Apprentice. I just want to thank Old Mutual Insure once again for this wonderful studio facility, and of course Standard Bank Insurance for accommodating our cast during filming. A special thanks, of course, goes to I2 Special Risks, and more particularly to Marissa van der Westhuizen, who, as you know, was a contestant on this show just a year ago. Marissa, it was great having you here, and I think it was a really exciting task. I'm going to hand over to you now, and you're welcome to give your feedback.
Having stood where you guys now stand only a year ago, it's an immense privilege for me to sit here and represent I2 Special Risks today. If we look at the task that was set today, if there's one takeaway that I would want every single one of you guys to take with you from this competition into the next round and even beyond, is that people matter. One of the core values of I2 is that we want to be caring catalysts. This challenge may have had a backdrop of kidnap and ransom insurance, and it's so easy to get involved and sort of bogged down in the nitty-gritty of insurance, and we forget that it matters.
Thanks, Marissa. Knox?
I actually didn't want to talk today at this feedback session. I told Simon he didn't have to answer me, and that's because I had nothing good to say. But I do think it's important that I say something. I was so disappointed. And the reason for that is I've seen your brilliance and I've seen what you're capable of. Bad days happen. It's just unfortunate when they happen on the day that you really can't afford it.
Thanks. We actually couldn't reach consensus as to which group was the winner today. I can't remember ever seeing groups have such levels of public dissent. There was a disagreement on elements of the presentations in front of us. I felt that that was somewhat unprofessional. If you find yourselves in a situation professionally and you're trying to present a united front, then be united. That has put us in an interesting predicament. So we're basically dismantling the teams. Anifa, in your team today, who do you think had the lowest score?
In my team today, I would have scored Mandy the lowest, just based on the fact that there was a lot of research and, conversations happening that he didn't really always take part on.
Well, it's very interesting that you say that, because in fact, Mandy had the highest score. And it was actually you that had the lowest score. Which means that this is the last time we will see you on this show. You're dismissed.
Thank you for having me.
We don't have a clear winning team today. We've had this dissent amongst the teams, both teams, on account of the fact that we did not have a winning team today, and that the only thing the teams had in common was the dissent. We are going to be saying goodbye to someone else today. Keba.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think scored the lowest in your team?
I think it might be Jason.
Jason? Who do you think had the lowest score in your team?
Based on our teamwork in the group session, before we came out here, we did nominate a leader in Temwa. And I felt we still had a lack of direction. And if there was an opportunity for us to discuss those questions that you asked.
Let me put you out of your misery. Because actually in your group, Keba had the highest score today. And the lowest score it was you, Jason.
I understand.
This is the end of the road. You're dismissed.
Thank you very much.
All right, it looks like these are the 4 contestants going through into the last task at the FSCA. I do want to congratulate you for that. I know it hasn't been an easy run to get to this point. I hope you all go rest and get ready for that FSCA task, which you know is generally the toughest every season. And I wish you luck, and I'll see you back here next week.
think I deserve to go home today, but I do believe I've served my purpose.
It's not an easy one to take. I've just been eliminated.
Although this is a competition, the prize isn't really getting to number one. The prize is interacting with experts in the industry, gaining knowledge, gaining exposure.
I mean, I had no idea it could happen like this. I've not seen it before.
And I think it's the best for, actually.
Yeah.
I am feeling a little confused because I'm surprised the judges said that I scored the lowest.
I'm happy with the way I played the game. I was authentic the whole time. It was me.
The only unfortunate part is you don't get to go to the next round and learn the last lesson. But you do still have a valuable amount of knowledge that you have gained. And I think that is the biggest prize that you can walk away here with.
At the end of the day, it's a competition after all, right? You do your best, and if it doesn't take you all the way to number one, then let the best man literally win.
It's hard still, you know, like leaving. It meant a lot to me to be the apprentice just because I wanted to change things.
No, we're definitely gonna miss you, man. No, we're definitely gonna miss you. I don't want to lie.
Which side of the table do you prefer?
This side is much more comfortable.
So looking forward to just relaxing and, you know, doing me and not stressing about all this. Yeah.
Beautiful stuff, right?
Kibbs, yeah, I'll play better. I think I'll use a little bit of time to reflect, but going forward, my goal to make a difference doesn't just end here. You know, whatever I can do that will do that. This is not the last you've seen of me, bottom line.
That's it. That's our top 4.
It will be a good winner, regardless.
I think so.